Hello everyone. Today we are going to give a presentation on chatbots. I am Vishweshwar Reddy and my teammates are Harika and Srinidhi. A chatbot is a computer program designed to simulate human conversations, either through text or voice. The brief history of the chatbot started in the late 1960s. It's a Elsa. It's a rule-based chatbot, and in 2000s it's AI/ML chatbots, and from 2010 to now, the chatbots rely on NLP, deep learning, and LLMs. The most common one we see in everyday life is ChatGPT. They are used in many real-world applications like customer support, virtual assistants like Siri and Alexa, educational tutoring systems, and even healthcare. Chatbots have evolved massively from early rule-based chatbot systems in late 1960s to today's AI-powered assistants like ChatGPT, which rely on large language models. Why we choose chatbots? Chatbots represent a bridge between humans and AI, widely used and easy to demonstrate. It combines several NLP areas like intent recognition, named entity recognition, response generation, and dialogue management. We choose this topic because ChatGPTs are one of the most practical and visible outcomes of NLP research. They combine several NLP capabilities: understanding intent, recognizing entities, managing dialogue flow, and generating natural responses. Also, as students in AI and NLP, we wanted to explore how these systems actually interact with humans in real world contexts. In short, chatbots are where linguistic understanding meets real applications. Coming to the workflow of chatbots, first, the user provides input to the system. It's called user input in the natural language understanding. The system interprets the user's input and it classifies the intent. The system identifies the user's intention and it entity extraction. The system extracts relevant information and then the system manages the conversation flow. It's called dialogue management. And natural language generation. The system generates a response. And finally, the response delivery. It delivers a response to the user. Let's clearly see the workflow in a real time example. Let's say the user gave an input to book a flight from Singapore to Tokyo for tomorrow. First, the natural language understanding. The intent recognition detects the user's goal is to book flight, and the named entity recognition is Singapore is the departure city, and the Tokyo is destination city, and the date is tomorrow. And dialogue management. The chatbot checks if all needed details are available. It sees that the time of flight is missing and decides the next action is ask user for the missing details. And the natural language generation. The system generates a natural human-like message. Sure, like what time would you like to fly from Singapore to Tokyo, depending on the outputs it gets. And it gives a response to the user. So in short, a chatbot listens, understands, decides, and responds. From here on, it is continued by my friend.
Now I'm going to discuss about types of chatbots. So we have different types of chatbots like rule-based chatbots, AI-based chatbots, retrieval-based chatbots, generative chatbots, and task-oriented chatbots. So rule-based chatbots work on predefined rules and keywords. They can answer only specific fixed questions. AI-based chatbots and retrieval-based chatbots use machine learning and NLP to understand context and give smarter answers and more natural replies. Generative chatbots. They use deep learning to generate new responses instead of picking from the pre-written ones. And the task-oriented chatbots. These are designed to perform specific tasks like booking tickets or ordering food, etc. And when coming to the rule-based chatbots, a rule-based chatbot is the simplest form of chatbot that works using predefined rules, patterns, or decision trees. It responds to user inputs by matching keywords or phrases to a set of stored rules. If a match is found, it provides the corresponding reply. Otherwise, it often displays a default message. Like if we say hi, then it replies as hello. The architecture is very straightforward. When a user enters a message, it checked against a set of predefined patterns. If there is a match, the bot picks the associated response from its database. If not, it usually gives a default message like I didn't understand that. So it's predictable and easy to build, but can't handle unexpected or complex inputs. The advantages of this rule-based chatbot is it is easy to design and implement, and it produces consistent and predictable responses, and this is ideal for simple customer support systems. And the drawbacks of this chatbot is it cannot handle complex or unexpected queries, and it lacks contextual understanding and flexibility, and the maintenance becomes difficult as the rule sets grow. So, early chatbots like Aliza, which is discovered in 1966, is an example of this rule-based chatbot. And the architecture of this rule-based chatbot is when the user gives the input, then if there is a pattern matcher, if it matched, then matching rule is found, and we get the response from the selector, or else we get the default response and we get the output generator, and chatbot gives a response for the user input. So when coming to the AI based or NLP based chatbot, an AI based or NLP based chatbot uses natural language processing and machine learning to understand and respond to user input in a more human like way. Unlike rule-based systems, these chatbots can interpret the meaning and intent behind words rather than relying solely on predefined patterns. So, the advantages of this AI based or NLP based chatbot is it is more flexible and intelligent than rule based chatbots, and it can understand context, synonyms, and language variations. And it is suitable for complex real world applications like Siri, Alexa, and Google Assistant. And the drawbacks of this chatbots are it requires large and high quality training data, and it can sometimes misinterpret ambiguous inputs, and it can development and maintenance are more resource intensive. And the example for this AI based or NLP based chatbot is the voice assistants such as Alexa and Siri. And the architecture of this chatbot is the user input, NLU, and the intent detection or entity recognition, and from there dialog manager, from there NLG, and from there it gives a response to the user. And when coming to the retrieval based chatbot, a retrieval based chatbot works by selecting the most appropriate response from a predefined set of possible replies. So instead of generating new sentences, it retrieves the best matching response based on the user's query using similarity measures or machine learning models. So, the advantages of this retrieval based chatbot is it produces reliable and contextual relevant answers, and it is easier to manage and evaluate compared to the generative models, and it reduces risk of inappropriate or random responses because it gives the replies from generating the user input. And the limitations of this chatbot is limited to response available in its database only, and it cannot generate new or creative answers, and it may struggle with paraphrased or unseen queries. And the example for this type of chatbot is many customer support chatbots. And the architecture of this chatbot is user input, text embedded in the user input, and similarity search, and retrieve best response and gives the output. Next, the generative chatbot. A generative chatbot uses advanced deep learning models to create responses dynamically rather than selecting from predefined ones. These chatbots rely on neural network architectures, especially transformers, to generate human like context aware replies word by word. And the advantage of this generative chatbot is it produces natural, flexible, and creative responses, and it can handle open domain conversations on a wide range of topics, and it can maintain context across multiple dialogue turns. And the limitations of this chatbot is it may hallucinate, like generate incorrect or irrelevant information to the user, and it requires massive computational resources and large data sets, and it is hard to control and evaluate for factual accuracy or safety. And the example for this generative chatbot is modern systems like ChatGPT, Google Bard, and Meta Blender Bot, etc. And the architecture for this generative chatbot is it takes the user input and it makes tokenizer, next goes to the natural language model, then it encodes the data and decoding it, and then detokenizes the text, and it gives the output for the user. Next, coming to the task oriented chatbot. It is a task-oriented chatbot is designed to perform specific tasks or services such as booking tickets, ordering food, scheduling appointments, or providing customer support. Unlike open domain chatbots, it focuses on achieving a clear goal through structured conversations. So the advantages of this task-oriented chatbots is it provides accurate and efficient responses within a specific domain and can automate repetitive tasks and saving time and resources, and it can offer consistent and reliable user experiences. And when coming to the disadvantages or the limitations of the task oriented chatbot is it is limited to the predefined domains or tasks, and it struggles with open ended or out of scope queries, and it needs regular updates as workflows or data source changes. And the best example for this task oriented chatbot is a flight booking chatbot that helps users check flight schedules. And the architecture of this task oriented chatbot is first it takes the user input, then goes to the NLU, then goes to the dialog manager, then it backend or API. If it is yes, then it integrates to the backend integrator. If it is no, then it directly goes to the response generator and it gives the response to the user. From backend integrator, it goes to response generator and it gives the output for the user. So now coming to problems in chatbots, despite of all these advantages, chatbot still faces a number of problems like limited understanding, lack of context awareness, rich response, data privacy issues, emotional intelligence. Firstly, coming to context understanding, many chatbots fail to remember previous parts of conversations, and like they give incorrect answers for the previous messages. From coming to the rich response, rule based boards cannot handle unexpected inputs and open ended questions. And coming to privacy and data security, since chatbot process sensitive data, ensuring user safety is the major issue. And coming to emotional intelligence, chatbot still struggle to detect uh, tone, emotions, or sarcasm in user messages. And next, coming to next slide, like challenges. Here, building an intelligent chatbot is harder than the wise it looks. One key challenge is data quality and multilingual understanding, bias and fairness, evaluation, ethics and safety, and contacts retention. Coming to the key challenge like data quality, good conversation data is expensive and time consuming to label. Data bias, since models learn from only data, they sometimes produce biased or offense content. Next, coming to multilingual understanding, it is also a tricky. Chatbot often struggle with code mixed or regional language inputs. And next, coming to evaluation, it will measure how a good chatbot is remain an open problem. Finally, coming to ethics and trust, user need to know when they are talking to a bot and response must be factual and safe. And next coming to the now coming to the conclusion, here we conclude chatbots have evolved from simple rule-based system to complex AI-driven conversation agents. They are now integrated in nearly every digital services, from customer care to education. However, challenges like context understanding, fairness, and ethical safety remains unsolved. As NLP and deep learning continue to advance, the next generation of chatbots will be more context awareness, emotionally intelligent, and trustworthy. Thank you. Thank you.